In the summer of 2025, an AI model noticed this really subtle pattern over the Indian Ocean. The traditional meteorological supercomputers just completely missed.
Oh, entirely missed it.
Yeah, and that single calculation predicted a 20-day dry spell, which ended up saving 3.8 crore Indian farmers from just catastrophic ruin. So, welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
We know you want to cut through the noise and, grasp what actually matters. So our mission today is extracting the crucial insights from this massive 2025-2026 research report on the global and Indian AI landscape.
It is a hefty report, for sure.
It really is. Okay, let's unpack this, because we are officially out of the chatbot era and squarely in the age of agentic and sovereign AI.
Exactly. I mean, the systems dominating 2025 and 2026, like GPT-5 and Gemini 3, they don't just answer your questions anymore. They actually act.
Right, they execute. The report really emphasizes this shift to autonomous workflows. For those of you listening who are building with these tools, think of it like the difference between a draftsman and a general contractor. The old AI was the draftsman, right? You asked for a blueprint, it drew one.
Right, a static output.
Exactly.
Right.
But agentic AI is the contractor. It looks at the blueprint, autonomously hires the plumbers, orders the lumber, and literally builds the house.
What's fascinating here is how they are actually pulling that off. It really comes down to multimodal logic.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, these layered neural networks, they aren't just processing text anymore. They're analyzing audio, video, and text, like all simultaneously.
Wow, all at once.
Yeah, because they perceive the world through multiple streams of data at the same time, they understand context well enough to execute really complex multi-step logic.
Which brings us back to that weather prediction at the start. It's not just some cool tech demo, it's a literal survival mechanism.
Yeah, it's life or death for agriculture.
So how exactly did that model, Neural GCM, beat out traditional meteorology?
Well, traditional supercomputers, they rely on these very rigid physics equations to simulate weather. But Neural GCM used multimodal deep learning to just ingest massive amounts of historical climate data.
Alongside the real-time stuff, right?
Exactly, real-time atmospheric video and satellite feeds. So it recognized these chaotic, nonlinear patterns in the atmosphere that hard-coded equations just can't catch.
That's incredible. And that same mechanism is transforming healthcare, too. The report highlights PopEV, which is this AI diagnosing rare genetic diseases with, over 90% accuracy.
Yeah, 90% is massive.
It is. And it's not just Googling symptoms. It's instantly synthesizing an individual's really complex genetic markers against, decades of global medical literature.
Spotting anomalies a human doctor might see maybe once in a lifetime.
Exactly.
It's moving from an assistive novelty to foundational infrastructure.
Okay, but I have to push back here for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
If I'm hearing that an AI is autonomously predicting weather better than supercomputers and diagnosing diseases at 90% accuracy, aren't human jobs totally doomed?
It's a fair question.
I mean, it feels like we are engineering ourselves out of the equation.
That is the logical fear, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we look at the data in the report, it paints a very different picture of this transition. Gartner actually predicts that by 2030, 75% of IT work will be AI-assisted.
Right, assisted.
The key word is assisted, exactly.
Still, moving to 75% assistance implies a ton of disruption. Even if the World Economic Forum estimates 170 million new jobs will be created, that transition isn't going to be completely frictionless for the people listening right now.
Oh, you're absolutely right. The friction is very real. But the WEF data points to a massive surge in what they call collective productivity.
Meaning humans and AI together.
Yes. The jobs of the future aren't about doing the math. They are about directing the AI that does the math. Humans and AI collaborating can innovate just so much faster than either could alone.
Right. And, if AIs are going to perform 75% of IT work, whoever controls the underlying hardware basically controls the future economy.
Oh, 100%.
You can't just rent your nation's cognitive infrastructure from foreign servers. And that realization is really what's driving India's massive push for sovereign AI.
Yes, the report breaks down the India AI mission, which is a 10,371 crore rupee investment.
That's a huge commitment.
It is. They're providing 38,000 subsidized GPUs directly to local developers, and they're also building out the Bhashini project.
Oh, right, the language initiative.
Exactly. It bridges the digital divide across 22 Indian languages, just ensuring the AI is trained on local, culturally relevant data.
But, hardware is only half the battle. If an AI is making critical decisions in healthcare or agriculture, Who takes the fall when it inevitably makes a mistake?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you cannot have sovereign AI without sovereign rules.
That makes sense.
And that is exactly where India's December 2025 AI Ethics and Accountability Bill comes in.
Yeah, I was reading through that. It's not just a generic set of, fluffy guidelines.
Yeah.
They legally recognize algorithmic bias as a systemic error.
Exactly, and it enforces a graded liability system.
So treating different AI differently.
Right. Rather than a blanket rule, the liability scales with the risk of the AI's application. So a model recommending movies faces completely different scrutiny than one diagnosing patients.
Which is just logical.
It ensures development aligns with their 7 sutras of governance, which keeps deployment transparent without, choking innovation.
So what does this all mean? For you, the listener, it means AI is becoming a collaborative power tool rather than a replacement. It's not a magic trick taking your job. It's really the ultimate instrument you need to learn how to play, built on infrastructure that entire nations are racing to own.
Well said. And before we wrap, I do want to leave you with one final kind of provocative thought from the research.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've talked a lot about massive cloud models today, but the report notes a huge shift towards small language models, or SLMs, that are designed to run entirely offline on rural or personal devices.
Offline, meaning they learn directly from the user without needing the internet.
Yes. These SLMs will soon develop local self-improvement capabilities.
Wait, so the AI is learning from your personal data just locally?
Exactly. If your device's AI is constantly learning from your most intimate, offline daily habits to improve itself, completely disconnected from a server, it raises a huge question.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Are we inadvertently walking into a new kind of privacy nightmare where the observer basically lives permanently in our pockets?
Wow. We started by talking about a new era of technology, but the real question you have to ask yourself now is, how much of your offline life are you really willing to let it observe?